Here we are, we're back fishing, and yet again it's a northerly wind. I'll tell you why I'm here. I am at Moggs. Haven't fished here for quite some time, and I am looking forward to it. Get it out of the way. I think I'll be building this beach up soon. So yeah, we're at Moggs. Keep watching. So let's just cut for the intro and get on with this, because this one's going to be a short one. It is. Cut for the intro. Right, we have got 2-hook flapper, because squid, you can put that on when it's frozen. And if there's a turbot out there, I'll get it. So let's get this casted out, and then we'll be moving back soon, because it's low water now. I ain't heard my alarm for my... It is loud. I very apologise for this wind, but it's the jet stream's fault. Well, a bit of squid flew off. It's because it's frozen. Should have put a bit of bait elastic on, really, because when a small hook goes for it, it puts like a dash, not a dot. You know what I mean? It splits it. I just saw it flew off, but there's a piece of bait on. It's not going to go far because I've got a 2-hook flapper, and on top of that, I'm casting. The wind's blowing down the beach, but it's from like over there, really. So it is absolutely terrible. The wind for the past month at least has been blowing north, northeast, east, then it blew south, but I was on the wrong side of the riverbank. It's just relentless. And I checked the jet stream yesterday, and it's above the Shetland Islands, believe it or not, where it curves round. And I clicked on it and did some pushing, and it took 240 hours, 10 days before it disappears and then splits. It splits and then it goes below the southern England. Well, when that happens, it's going to get cold probably, but hopefully the winds might stop. I've just got to think 10 days time, but the Met Office only goes to 5 days or 6 or whatever, and it's north, northeast, east, right up until next Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. It's an absolute nightmare. This often happens, and then it just disappears, and then you're all right. But then you'll get rain, probably sleet, hailstones. That's England for you. So if you're thinking of coming to England, don't come for the weather. Don't come for... We'll get into that later. I want to keep this video short, and it is a bit harsh on the old lugholes with the wind. Like my voice is probably harsh on your lugholes listening to me. But I'll show you my rods. We are fishing the old, hang on, I can't see the camera. We got the Ziplex Primo High Flex, and we coupled that up with a Blue Abu. Now it's not a Blue Elite, no, it's the one that came out when they finished the Blue Elite for a couple of years, and it is, let's turn the light on, it is the Blue Yonder 650 C3 CT Blue Yonder with a centre mag. Absolutely chuffing mint. Blue Yonder. Don't know if you can see it, can you? Trust me, it's a Blue Yonder. So yeah, it's a low water fishing reel. That's right, with me low water fishing rod. Mind you, I use that for both. Yeah, I do. I haven't used that, I've used it twice now. It's the third time I've used that rod. Lovely rod. Yeah, a bit disappointing the squid fell off there. The wind, my hip. I can only cast out so far now. And that's the way it is. So yeah, we're at Moggs. I went down to Chapel 6 Marsh because it's a short walk, and they've got the bulldozers down there, and I said, are you coming down as far as here, because they were up the other end, and they said yeah, 5 o'clock. Bloody hell, you know. So I said, well, I'll go somewhere else then, but I've already bought a parking ticket. I thought about going further up that way and trying a couple of places I've seen where there's a bit of parking, and I thought, no, I'm using my car parking ticket. So I thought, do you know what, I'll come to Moggs because my mate Les told me it's a short walk. I knew it was a short walk, but you forget all these things when you don't come to these marks. But I'm only fishing from low water to high, so we will end up over there from where we are there. So that's good. We'll get a bit of fishing, get 3 or 4 hours. That'll then be high tide tonight's at 8 o'clock. I don't know how big it is. We've got a hole over there, a bloody great hole, but from the beach where the slope is, there's no way you'd hit that, especially on a day like today. That's like a king cast from top casters in the world. That must be 200 yards to there. So I'm gonna fish. I can hear my alarm. So I'm gonna fish down in this gully down there. There's a water bit that goes around, and then there's a puddle there, over there. So I'm gonna just lob one in close there and one out here. It's a featureless beach, apart from the odd hole. It don't matter where you fish. It is pot luck to whether the fish turn up. I am holding bottom. There is no huge left to right pull, so that's good. The only thing that's against me is the fact that it's bloody windy. Anyhow, I'm going to turn this alarm off after I've took my tablet, because if I turn the alarm off, I'll then do something else, and then 2 hours later think I ain't took my tablet. So here we are, Moggs. If you've got this far with me rattling on, click that old subscribe button, drop us a comment and give us a thumbs up. But I am going to try and make this one shorter. See you in a bit. Oh no, don't look at me. So yeah, that's what it's like. It's beautiful when the sun comes out, but that's about it. I want to try and keep this short if I can. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I said try. I'm going to get my wind meter out in a minute and see what the wind is. So when I bring you back again, I'll tell you what the wind speed is. It's an absolute nightmare. It hasn't stopped blowing north to northeasterlies to east for ages and ages and ages. A lot of the time I was still going to the river was because of this, but I've had enough in the river and I want to come elsewhere. So I got a bit of a depression there. I'm on a crest of the sandbank here, and then over there you've got another depression, but you're talking a couple hundred meters from there to the top of the beach. So I'm gonna literally fish here the whole session, moving back, because then I can just drop one in where this channel goes up to the slope of the beach. There's a big huge V shape. It looks like a rocky fanny. That's what it looks like triangle shape. So it looks like a 1970s rocky patch. We'll leave it at that. So what I'll do is I'll sign off now, because mind you, I've got to get enough time on the video so I can say what I want to say. See you in a bit. Thought I could reach that weed on my line there, but it's about 1.5 foot higher than me stretch. So there you go, that's how little I am. So it's quite flat here, and there it suddenly goes up, so it'll slow down a bit, but as soon as it gets to where those people are walking there, just past these tractor tracks, it'll fly down, and then I'll be fishing in probably 2 foot of water straight away, as soon as the water hits the bank. Now I'm going to fish it for so long. I'm not going to fish up to high water, but I'm going to fish in the light. I haven't brought any lights with me. Well, I have, but they're back at the van and I ain't getting them. So I shall fish for so long and then I'll pack it in. So next time I reel in, I'll bring you back and show you. See you in a bit. Alright, let's get this in. Well, I took a measurement of the wind and it was 15 miles an hour, and it seems to have slowed down a little bit, but Friday it's going to be blowing northerlies to 30-mile-an-hour gusts, so it's nothing to look forward to, is it? So I'm meant to be going fishing with Colin, but I don't think I want to go. I'd rather go on a nice day, but Colin can only go Fridays. I might do the odd Saturday with him as well, but want to enjoy my fishing. I don't think Colin would enjoy it either, unless we went somewhere different. I don't know. But let's get this out. We've got a pulley pedal on now. Just because it was in the box. See, the wind's picked up again now. Just because it was in the box. So I'll probably get a fair way, you know, when it's not windy. I'm happy with that, as over the breakers. It didn't come unclipped either, so I'm chuffed with that. It did go about, started off straight, and then what happened was, it ended up about 5-8 yards to the right. But that was the wind taking it. But the line's over that way now. But I'm sure when I reel it in, it'll take the bow out because the wind's blowing on it and it puts a bow on it. So, well, I keep moving back. The water's there, as you can see, and my box and gear's there, and there's that little river which is flowing out to sea at the minute, and over there, as you can see, is that channel. So I'll keep moving back, cross the little tiny stream, and then go straight up, and over there where my finger is there, that's where the path is from McVan. So yeah, this used to be quite a prolific area, beach area, for those that like dogs at night time. Doggy sort of, you know, dog in sort of thing. And the locals used to complain a lot, which I suppose, I don't know why, because the houses are way back, but you know, whatever floats your boat into it. But I don't know if that's still the case, but they call it Marsh Yard now, and I don't know why, because it'll always be known as Moggs Eye until that generation dies, and then they'll get what they want and they achieve, won't they? I'm gonna have a bottle of water now. I'm going to keep watching this rod. It's an absolutely beautiful sky today, but it is very, very, very windy. Not just very, very windy, we're going very, very, very windy. But this is 15-mile-an-hour gusts. Now you would think this was blowing 20 mile an hour, but the other day it was blowing 20 mile an hour. And it felt like 25. Wind always feels stronger than it is, but it isn't. And I've made that mistake. But there, they forecast 30 mile an hour at the weekend. Whether that'll be the case or not, I don't know. But even 20 mile an hour is atrocious. It's not pleasant, but it's not too cold. But then I've got a hoodie and this coat on. Anyhow, I'll bring you back in a bit. I am fishing. I'm going to sort this flapper rig out and elasticate some of the squid on. Matter of fact, I might put a black lug on and tip it off with squid. See you in a bit. Well, I don't believe it. I've just put this battery in and I charged it up yesterday, and it's yellow already, about 20%. The other one that I've just had to replace was 50% and green. You know, it's a shame that GoPro don't keep making parts. I suppose they get to a point where they aren't selling them and people aren't buying them, because that's 2 batteries gone already. You know, I might as well just throw them in the bin, Anna. So the water's coming in down this channel now, and look at this. That was right up there. Someone's lost the buoy. I'm sure someone will get it. I think they're worth a bit of money. I don't know how much they're worth or whether they're tuppence halfpenny. But I've got a couple of them at my house, but I'm not getting another. Or shallow. Should we go and have a look? Oh, the water's coming in. I don't need a buoy, do I? Let me put my camera over here and I'll move my fishing rod. This water is now getting to the crest, coming up to the crest of the sandbank, so all of a sudden it'll be in. So much of that. I guess you did. Yeah. Well, it's beached itself now, but I'm not going to go get it because there's a load of rope on it. Well, I should get it out, but got some litter out. Wind's dropped just now. It has. It's got oh bloody hell. It's a long way up there. it's got a leaded rope in it to weigh it down, you know. So anyhow, I'm going to sit down now and relax, because yeah, I shouldn't be taking that home really. But if I don't, someone else will, wouldn't they? So it's got it out of the water. All that rope could tangle round some sort of seal or something like that. So we ain't got any turtles, have we? So yeah, I shall probably chop the rope off. I should probably just take it up to the van, but I can't do that because I'll leave my gear here, but there's nowhere there, so I think I'll be perfectly safe. What I've noticed here is, look at the beach. Can you see that, how steep that is? It's unbelievable, isn't it? So if I hold you like that and you see the beach behind me, on a 5 metre tide, you're going to be into quite a bit of water here, because it's going to back it up into it. I don't know why they're putting more sand on the beach, because I remember coming here when my girls were 3, 4, 2 years old, and we'd bring them here, and I don't know if it was here, Moggs Eye, or whether it was at Hut Off, but one of these beaches, underneath all this sand is a load of concrete, a concrete slope, but in the slope it's got holes, all the same size holes all the way along. Because I remember, because my daughter needed to go to the toilet, so she sort of like held herself up in this hole and had a wee, you know, as you do. But yeah, that's way down, probably 20 metres. Well, maybe 6. Don't know, I can't remember if it was here or at Hut Off. But yeah, let me show you what I'm looking at out here. See the 2 boats that are in the water? Well, they're the dredgers that are moving the pipe. I don't know how they suck it out. They must have some machine. There's a boat over there going hell for leather. And that way is Hut Off. But I need to get my rod in now, because it is to the left. So that's what I'm now going to do. So I'll probably just leave you on. I'll probably have to walk out there, but I've seized up now, so I've got to let my leg do the unseason. When I first come here, I was holding bottom. Now I am not, but I can only assume that I've got weed on it, because the last cast had a little weed. something to show you here. That water in that area there is coming in very quick. Ah, it looked to me as though it was all hooked up still, but it isn't. It's freed off. Anyway, I'm going to chuck that out again. I'm just going to chuck it out here, and I'm not changing it either. I'm just going to chuck it out. So, see you in a bit. Because it's only in shallow water, very shallow in fact. Well, that's the longest take I've done. That's 14 minutes and I didn't want to do that. See you in a bit. Right, well, I've took that buoy back to the van. I tied all the rope up and carried it back. I've got 2 or 3 now, but I think I've done the right thing because it's got the rope off out of the water, and anything could get tangled up in it like a seal, couldn't it? So yeah, that's done. I'm not going to talk about this yet, but old Skidmark and his cronies, you know, who control our country for some other entity, like a globalist organisation that think they know best, like they're now talking about charging for water. Now, they just put this shit out there, and then it's up to the European Union and the like to then come up with how they can do it. Go watch LSB Productions film, I think it is, and he's just done a video on how much water used to cost, and electric, and how it used to be subsidised and was a lot cheaper, a hell of a lot cheaper than what it is now. But that all went to cock during the 80s under Thatcher, and the electric company was in the 90s, was the last one. But yeah, go have a look at his videos. He's very knowledgeable, far more knowledgeable than what I can remember sat on a beach. But yeah, what I'm getting at is when Skidmark suddenly decides what this trade deal is with Europe, I mean, at the minute it sounds, and it don't mean it's going to happen, because the media might be bumping it up a bit to sell papers, but we're going to have 18 to 30 year olds coming into our country willy-nilly from Europe, because we rarely need that. We've got to have help from the European army that was never ever going to be. And due to those two things, we've got to give them something back. And that's called our fishing rights. And I heard late at night it was gonna, our fishermen, you'd think they'd have 100% of fishing in our waters, but apparently they have 37%, thereabouts, and it's going to drop down to possibly 25% in our waters, in our sovereign country. And we've got to give our fishing rights to Macron, the Frenchman, as part of a trade deal, because we have to give our soul to get something that we don't fucking need. Because when have we ever had to have help of Europe, apart from the Crusades? When have we ever had to have military help? Someone will put it in the comments, I'm sure, but I always seem to think it's us helping them or beating them. But times change, don't they? But what I'm getting at here, I ain't gonna rant about this until it's done and dusted, and I'm gonna read about it and figure it out. But I think the smug get that is Skidmark himself he's been very smug, and I think what'll happen is when they get their fishing rights, they might just start stopping them illegal foreign army that's coming over in boats. I think that's what his plan is, so he can then say, whoa, we're letting them in the country, they can stop there, so we got the list down, and we've stopped the boats. We haven't smashed the gangs, but we've stopped the boats, because the French will actually do what we're paying them for, the hundreds of millions of pounds. Anyhow, it should kick off next week or next month with a deal, and when that happens, when it's in far enough in the video, I shall be ranting. If it's cut out, I shall do a live. See you in a bit. It is bloody lovely, really. It's just this wind. When I went over the bank, or the dunes should I say, there's no wind. You can't feel the wind down there. It's lovely, and I was getting red hot, but it is what it is, isn't it? And said that for a long while ever. I'm gonna chuck out a little flapper next, and I'm gonna chuck it out 25 yards, and then after that I'm gonna make a squid bait up and hull it straight out in front of me into that gully in between the two sandbanks, hoping for a bass. I'm not gonna say it with the waves like that, but there must be some fish out there, because it's absolutely cracking. It's just, I wish this wind wasn't there. But I don't think in the camera you can get justice of how steep this slope is. But I shall see you in a bit when I reel this in. about 25 yards. I don't think it'll hold bottom, I think it'll just bob. But never mind, we'll see. What was I going to say to you? Oh, today is Wednesday the 14th of May. High tide tonight's at 8:30, I think. Somewhere around there, at Skeg. But on Monday, it was my birthday. And I was 57. And it was a weird day. I had to take Louis to the vets because he had a cold or something like that. He was snotting through his nose and couldn't breathe, kept opening his mouth, so he's making all sorts of noises. And all weekend, because it was my wife's birthday Friday last week, and could have took him to the vets Friday, but I couldn't because then I wouldn't have made it to meet the wife. And I ain't doing that again. So all weekend I've been worrying like hell. And then Monday I took him there and he's had antibiotics and inflammatories injected into him, checked over, everything's all right. He was better on Monday actually when I took him, and he's all right now. So them drugs will make him a bit better quicker, won't they? That was 70 quid. And then I eventually got to the pub, and the wife was trying to do a secret birthday tea or something, which would have been really nice. But I was like being told to wait round my daughter's for 3 hours, and I thought, I don't want to be doing that on my fucking birthday. So I threw a strop and my daughter said, go to the pub. If that's what you want, go to the pub, I'll get someone else to come round. But I didn't know they would just keep me there so they could go shopping and sort the house out. But I was in the pub and I was happy, and that's the main thing on your birthday, isn't it? But I had a pint and I then started falling asleep and I was wrecked. My eyes were hurting, I couldn't see with my glasses on down the road, I couldn't see to read the bloody menu, and I kept falling asleep. And the wife turned up and she had some wine and we had food, chicken and chicken strips, chicken drumsticks, chips, salad, all that sort of stuff. And she had plenty of wine. She said, are you happy? And I said, yeah, I am, but I'm absolutely wrecked. We got home, my daughter kindly come and picked me up, and all the family come round. Well, both my daughters and their partners come round, Tom and Richard. And yeah, it was nice. But as soon as they went, I was asleep, and I woke up at 11:30 at that night on Monday. Absolutely wrecked. So it was a weird one, really. I think it was all the stress from me cat, worrying about my cat. You don't realise you're worrying, do you? But I was. He's my big boy, you see. Anyhow, there's got to be some fish in that, ain't there? There's got to be some fish. Have to chuck it out away, aren't I? So nothing. Gonna have to chuck it out further than what I think I should, so it don't get bashed about with them waves. have to do everything possible not to fall over. To catch a fish, only one, you know. I don't want to break the golden rule, do I? Catching more than one. If I don't catch one, it's good to blank into it. I got my neck. I forgot my other one, still in the van. I took it off on the last session and I think I've left it in the van, but I've got this, don't know where, can't see it. But I had this one in my bag. I had it on my head last session, didn't I? It's better look like a seat, didn't I? But I've got that on, my hoodie on, obviously my mustard top, because that's the only top I got, and this coat. And the sun's out. Isn't wind great? Beautiful being here though. It's not far off a big left to right pull. I am holding bottom, but the odd cast goes. I guess the weights, because I've backed my wires off so they aren't so tight, because I want them to break out when I reel in, otherwise it's hard work. I think the next cast I'm going to chuck out shorter than that, probably chuck it 30 yards instead of 40. Right, battery run out on that one. My light was on and then it just started flashing. Well, I'll tell you now, it's got cold. I've got hand warmers on, keeping my hands warm because it is cold. So I'm glad I've left them in my blue bag. It is windy. I've got everything on that I've got on. If this coat weren't stopping the wind from getting through, I'd be frud. I'd be going back to the van. But that was my last cast. I'm not having any more. The time is 7:15. In 15 minutes my video will be going live because it's Verns Day. So I'm sorry that I'll be late answering the comments because I'll be driving them, but I know you'll understand. So yeah, yeah, that's my last cast. I ain't doing anymore. It's high water tonight. It's after 8 o'clock, 10 past, 20 past, half past, I can't remember. But I ain't fishing till then. I weren't going to fish till this long, but it was all right. It's now got cold, but that's because that sun's dropped, hasn't it? So we'll see what we get with this. It ain't gone out far. I got a beach which was sloping, so my rod was up and not down. It was hard to do the cast. I didn't even get my feet right to get myself sat down as best I could. But so that's why I do my little waddle afterwards, because otherwise I'll fall over. But yeah, we've got a 2-hook flat right there with 2 hooks on, and that's what I call my bass rig. So if there's any good bass out there, or a small bass, that'll take them hooks. They aren't huge, and I've got a squid on one and squid and crab on the other. So I'm going to start putting some of my gear away, well, my rig, and see you in a bit. It is rather chilly. I can't believe my battery ran out. Everything's getting wet. So now there's bloody water moisture on this wind, on the wind from the sea. So yeah, my tripod's wet, my rod is wet. I'm gonna be wet soon. See you in a bit. Right, let's get this reeled in. I might actually sign off at the van, which will mean getting my camera gear and everything out again, but I ain't fussed. I think I'll do that because it is a bit harsh here, and it'd be quite nice to have one thing where I can actually hear myself talk. So yeah, that's the end of the session. I'm pleased I used that rig. I did tie it for this sort of application for bass, close in. We have got the sand boat all the way down there. That's the dredger. He's been going up and down, filling his tanks up with sand, I reckon. I hope they have filters and stuff and sieves to return any or most of the sea life that they wreck, because all they're doing is making a channel out there and they're wrecking it, aren't they, the seabed, and then they pump it up. Now it's great because, like I say, this used to be really flat here and now it's got a built up beach, so I suppose you can't have all things, can you? But if they put groins out with granite, then it would do it naturally, wouldn't it? So anyhow, this has been it. I might talk to you at the van, but I'm here now. I'm about ready, nearly done it. And yeah, we've caught nothing, but this has been sea fishing at Moggs. We shall wait to see what happens with our fishing industry and how much and what they give away, if anything. So let's hope the media and everything are incorrect and that he'll do the right thing. But this has been fishing at Moggs. Where did that come from, bloody hell? I'm gonna get packed up, get to the van. If I sign this up again, so be it. And yeah, I'm gonna have a drive them, get some petrol at diesel, not petrol, get some diesel at Albury, and then I shall get them, drive safely, ignore all the idiots on the road that I had to put up with coming here, and I'm gonna, once I put all my gear away, have a bottle of beer. And you might think you're rattling on, Van, but I ain't done a lot of talking because it's too windy. I've got Mr. Seagull up there. He's waiting for all the squid that I've chucked down there. See you and on. Gonna back it up into it.